Who's cool in H-Town? Thank you for tuning in to my show, Foxxx Fylez, Cold and Unsolved. This is my show where I highlight the many cold case murders that are here in Houston, Texas, through my segment of My Beautiful Soul, and then I will swerve you on over to Dear Sister, ... a letter to let you know that you are not forgotten. And that is my segment where I highlight all of the rapes, the kidnappings, the murders, and our missing sisters and Indigenous women as well. So, I'm Cass, H-Town's Army brat. Thank you for tuning in and welcome. Again, I'd like to welcome you to my show. In a minute, but again, this show is an informative show. It's not an investigative show. It's an informative true crime show. Just giving you highlights and updates on some of the cases that have been solved and some of the cases that have not. And maybe you might have some kind of insight or some kind of information that you might want to give out. Hey, that's what we're here for, right? Right. So let's get into it. But before I get into it, I got to give my shout out. I like to give a shout out to my boy Jesse Brown III from JB Bankroll Productions for my tough, nice little beat you hear going on in the background. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, and shout out to myself and shout out to the crew and shout out to you all for watching and paying attention, and keeping up with the show. I really appreciate that. So do my beautiful soul and so do my dear sisters, right? Right. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. What's deeper into it, right? Moving the thing. Anyway, so if you have not watched the show before and you're new, or if you've already seen the show, I would like to say first and foremost, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share, right? Like, subscribe, and share. That's what we're supposed to do. Say, mama, tell them to like your videos and share your videos, and also to subscribe to the channel. So, hey, out of the mouth of babes, right? Right. But anyway, if you are new to the show, I like to get it started with a sort of what I like to call Did You Know, which is more of a, like I said, informative type of few minutes, like not even a few minutes of me giving you some kind of information that maybe you didn't know, maybe you do know, or maybe you thought you knew and you know a little bit better now because the Foxxx Fylez Cold and Unsolved, right? So here we go. Did you know today is, hold on, disclaimer, I do own the rights to the music being played. Anyway, secondly, excuse the voice. It's all kind of festivals and weekends going on in the H this weekend, so we had the baseball game Friday. Then I had the NBA Final Four Fan Fest on Saturday. Yesterday was the Zydeco Fest, so it was scratchy. This beautiful Sunday, but I needed to go on and get my show. It's been a minute, right? I gotta stop making it be so long till I do another one. And as I digress, I'm gonna get that tattooed on my shoulder. As I digress. Right. All right, so did you know that vaginal secretion and seminal fluid can produce deoxyribonucleic acid? Deoxyribonucleic acid. That's what we got. It is a molecule that carries genetic information for development and functioning of an organism. This means that each individual has a sequence of cells that equal up to their personalized genetic and of one single person. Meaning, there's no faking DNA. You can't get over it. You can't get away from it. You can't get by it. There's no faking. So, when you sweat, when you spit, or even when you relieve yourself in any manner, we secrete our own individualized genetic data. And this data can survive as long as 6 million years. I mean, like, who's gonna be looking for you 6 million years in the future? But still, that's how long it lasts. So you can be found, and they can find one chromosome of you, and then you could be cloned 5,055,100,000 years from now in the future. You dig? So no matter where it is left or how long ago it was left, it's still a capability to identify the person as long as they have a match. All right. So with that being said, when body fluids are being left behind at a crime scene or left on a victim, it would make it easier to solve the case. You think, right? In many cases, it happens rapidly, and in most of the cases, and in the most possible cases, it is done. It does take a little while longer. Read your words, guys. Read your words. In many cases, it happens rapidly, and in the most possible cases, which is many, which is the most cases, I tried to word it to where it sounds polite. But there's no way to put it politely. Like most of the cases, it's gonna take a while. But in some cases, it happens. Boom. But in many of the most possible cases, it does take a little while longer. Okay? So regardless of the time frame, when genetic evidence is collected, that's not my genetic sequence, so don't think you can copy it and clone it. It might be a month. I got this. Anyway, regardless of the time frame, when genetic evidence is collected, it can be compared to the DNA in the database. This helps to identify the perpetrator and to solve the case. Okay? And everybody knows the database. Everybody alive, old enough, should know the AFIS, the international database, where they identify, they have the DNA, the fingerprints, and your face. You have any identifying marks, you got, scars, tattoos, not being funny, but anything is in this database. So if you were in this database and you leave something behind somewhere you didn't want to leave, no one's supposed to leave, and it's crime worthy, look, they're gonna find it. Don't worry about it. You do you. They're gonna find it. So when it comes to being committed, people don't think, or read the words, guys. When crimes are being committed, crime. When crimes are being committed, people don't think about the minuscule evidence that is left behind. When you breathe, sometimes we excrete a little bit of drops of that DNA. You can touch something, and you don't have to leave no fingerprint per se, but you can leave the little bitty sweat molecules on your fingerprint, right? So the minuscule evidence that is left behind, and that is where the mistakes are made. I was once told by somebody very close to me, that is very dear to me, that criminals are stickers. Don't take it to heart. Don't sit up here and shoot the messenger. Just look, I'm not even a messenger. I'm just saying what I believe could be a little bit factual, right? So here we go. That was my did you know. So did you know that DNA is in everything? If you didn't know, now you know, and you're welcome. You are welcome. All right, so now it's time for me to move on along, and it's time to get on to my beautiful souls. And this here is something that I hold dear to heart, because these souls here are still, look at this light, just one right. Excuse me, get my light back up. These souls here cases are still cold. Nobody's working. Nobody has been working. So I would like to just, bring these cases to light, back to light to the public. So maybe if somebody might remember something from whenever this might have happened, or might know a person that might know something. Anybody, you never know what you know until you say what you know. That's my little slogan. Get down. You never know what you know until you say what you know. Because sometimes the story can get to going, and you'll realize, you know what? Oh my goodness, that does make sense. Such and such was wearing this, and he was, or she was, blase. So here we go. My beautiful soul this day is another story. I've talked about this girl before. But the energy that I was in at that moment wasn't proper. So I shouldn't have recorded that show that day. So I didn't feel the presence like I do now. So if you don't understand, if you don't know me, you don't know me. But you don't know what you know until you say what you know. Right? Right. So today, ladies and gentlemen, my beautiful soul. Well, the headline reads From Teenage Club to Abandoned Hospital. Justice for Erica. Erica Ann Garcia. Erica Ann Garcia, known by her family and friends as Tweety, was an 8th grade student at Sharpstown Middle School. Right? You know Sharpstown Middle School? All right? She was a promising student who had just made it to the cheerleading squad. Yep, just made it to the cheerleading squad. So I mean, that's a major accomplishment. I'm a mother of a daughter, and I know the pressure you go under, where you're under when it comes to the tryouts and the practice and the money that you have to pay. So for her to make it to this squad, I know she worked hard and she was dedicated, and she showed herself, to prove. She proved herself to how can I put it, to become who she was destined to be, right? Right. So, because you can't do it without work. But retired HPD Sergeant Derek Spire, who worked as a security guard at Sharpstown Middle School at the time, says that he remembers Erica telling him that she was tired of living the life that she was living and wanted to make a change. Hence, changing means changing, inside and out. So in order for you to change your outside, you have to change your inside. And she changed her inside. And then she changed her outside. Because you have to leave that behind, because you got practice. So you have to leave that behind, and you have to have your grade. So you have to leave that behind if she felt like she was, But as I digress, keep on going. So this is why her family needs to know what happened to her that night. On June 6th, 1997, she and her boyfriend were dropped off at the teen club named New Dimensions that was on Beach Nut. Annie dropped her and her boyfriend off at this nightclub, teen club. I'm from Houston, so I grew up in Houston, and I know we had our own clubs in the night. Now I'm from the north side, so there's no way my mom was gonna let me go to the south side of the club, because Beach Nut is way on the south side. And said she was having that. But anyway, as I digress, she met her friend at the club, and her auntie dropped her off with her boyfriend, and they were there. They were met at the door by several friends. So this is confusing, because on Saturday morning, when Jessica never made it home, not Jessica, oh my goodness, when Erica never made it home, the mother called, her aunt, Erica didn't come home. Aunt called the police, Erica didn't come home. We gotta wait, yada, yada, yada. So on the Saturday morning of June 7th, 1997, at 7:25 in the morning, the security guard who was doing his rounds at this abandoned A-Leaf General Hospital. Now, there is no picture at all of this hospital, because the hospital has been demolished, but it was an abandoned hospital. So there's no telling how old this hospital was. Now, the photos that I did see that was for the hospital, the software that I'm using will not let me upload those on here. So but if you want to Google, you can Google the A-Leaf General Hospital, abandoned A-Leaf General Hospital, and they give you the photos of the general walls in the area. And it looks haunted. Like, how? What are you doing in there? Anyway, so she was found by the security guard in this hospital in A-Leaf. And he says that the door leading to the hospital was unusually ajar. It wasn't supposed to be like this. This was closed all the way. So he cautiously walked in, and they discovered the dead body of a teenage girl. The authorities are immediately called out, and they are confirmed right then that this is indeed 14-year-old Erica Garcia. Sweet baby. Changed her life around. Didn't want to be in a crowd with the people that she was with. Didn't want to hang around the people that she was with. So she changed her life for the better. And her family, that's the hard part. Her family trusted the people, trusted the individuals that they put their baby's hands. You know what I'm saying? Because Amy dropped her off to a friend. So the authorities are called out, and this Erica Garcia. So Erica had been examined, of course, autopsy and all that good stuff, and then it was found out that she had been raped by multiple males, and that she was strangled with her own panties, right? So her own undergarment. For those who are particular what word is, but panties, y'all. Right? So this is what the security guard finds of a child. Right? All right, so Detective Ron Cervantes of the Houston Police Department Homicide Division, he said that he is confident in 1997, he is confident that there are at least two people who for a fact know what happened to Erica that fateful night. Two individuals, because guess what? Did you know? Did you know that you leave behind secretion? Did you know that you leave behind your evidence? Tiny, minuscule evidence is left behind at crime scenes because criminals are, you know what I'm saying? Something that, I don't know what criminals think. I'm not a criminal, so I can't tell you. Never mind. I'm not a criminal, and I'm not a crime solver. I am a informant. Not informant. Oh, watch your words. Beep. Rewind and scratch that. I'm just telling a story. I'm a storyteller. I write it. I research my thing. Anyway, so as I digress. So he says, it's only just a matter of time before they're caught. Now, this is 1997. Here we are, 2023. So it is a known fact that gangs and their activities were on a high in Houston in the 1990s. There's no doubt. Everybody. I mean, you can walk across the street, join their gang, like, you know what, I don't feel like we're going to get that. Because that's how many gangs it was. They were just piling up. If you know what I'm saying? Just piling up. So it was easy to get in a gang. So it was known that gang activity were high in Houston in the 1990s. So Sergeant Spire, which is this guy here, the officer at the school, he says that, there were so many gangs that there were gangs of choices in Houston, meaning that you could choose which gang you want to join if you chose that route. And being, I'm trying to be careful. Being in the Hispanic culture, not just the Hispanic culture, but really being in the Hispanic culture in the 90s, you were 9 times out of 10 in a gang. It was just known. And I'm not saying it as a bad thing because gangs are family. You know what I'm saying? They're not all ruthless. They're family. They consider them. You know what I mean? So she had a family with these people. But she wanted out. She was tired of what she had. She was tired of the life. She was tired of what was going on, and she wanted out. And, like I said, if you know about gangs, jump in, jump out. Blood in, blood out. In, out, right? So it's possible that her trying to get out of the situation could have led to the exit ritual, and it could have gotten out of hand. But whatever, it didn't have. It shouldn't have done it. So they said Erica did live a fast life, and she wasn't a gang. I'm getting off the script. Erica did live a fast life, and she wasn't a gang, but she was tired of that life and was wanting out and away from it, only to be brutally raped and murdered. Okay, so again, she was dropped off with her friends to this club. Her auntie dropped her off with her friends to this club, right? So that's her and her auntie. And this is her mother, pleading like, please tell me, do you know what happened to your daughter? And this video was taken in like 2013, 12, something like that. So that's still from then to then, and then from then to now, we're still trying to figure out what happened to this baby, and we have too much technology. Too many people have figured out how, you can do genetics, family, you can find somebody's granddaddy pardon me, 9 generations ago. But you can't tell me, something that happened 20 years ago, which is ridiculous. Almost 30 years ago. Okay. So, yeah. All right, so when questioned about Erica's last known whereabouts, they talked to her friend because that's where she was. Amy dropped her to the club with her friend. A homegirl says that she took the bus home from the club that night because she had to get home. She didn't, she did what she did, but she had to get home. Her mama didn't play it. So she got on the bus to go home and asked Erica if she wanted to ride the bus with her. Erica told her no. She had to wait home. So being the obedient daughter that the friend is, she went home. But being the neglectful friend that she is, she went home. It was like, that's a two-sided coin. What do you do? Like, man, I don't want to, I don't know what she's up to, but then you wake up tomorrow and find out that this happened to her. If you would have, no, let's go. Get on this bus. Or, well, fuck, excuse me. Forget about it. I'm coming with you. You know what I'm saying? What do you do? What do you do? So, it's a two-sided coin there. So, that's only if friend didn't have anything to do. Who's to say friend might have something to do? But I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, right? So let me get on, because I'm one past time. So that at that moment when the friend said that was the last time she seen Erica when she got on the bus, Erica stayed. She didn't say what kind of vehicle. She didn't say she seen Erica leaving the vehicle. She just know Erica left with someone, but who she didn't say. But it's crazy because where's this boyfriend? Right? Where's the boyfriend? If the angel dropped you and the boyfriend off, why aren't we not finding out what the boyfriend has to say about it? Or the rest of the friends? It's just one friend that the report states has been talked to. So if you know that there's 2 or more individuals involved in this, where are they? Why haven't we found them? So here it is. I wrote this. I typed this up in 2022. So guess how long it took me? No, I did this one before. This is my second time doing it. Right? So it is, like I said, it is now 2022, but I'm gonna take it to 23. So it is now 2023. And here we are, 26, coming up on 26 years. And there's still been no arrest in this heinous crime. If attention would have been paid sooner, maybe this case would have been solved by now. Because like Detective Cervantes said, he said it himself. He knows without the shadow of a doubt that there are at least 2 individuals who can tell him what happened to young Erica that night. So what's going on? Why haven't the perpetrators been identified yet? Right? So that like I said, the abandoned hospital has since been demolished. And it is now an open field where Erica's family goes to feel close to her. Like I said, the photo of the hospital is gone, but if you, and like I said, my StreamYard won't let me put it up on here because of, I guess, the way it's saved. It's saved as a web file. So I can't put it on here. But if you want to know what it looks like, Google the abandoned Ailey General Hospital, and it'll come up. And you can probably get some information on it as well. And is it haunted? So all you ghost hunters and fanatics out there, hey, send me some info. Hit me up. Look, let me know what you find. Reach out to me at 7productions@gmail.com and put in the section Foxxx Fylez Haunted. Anyway, so yeah, so that is Erica and Garcia. She is my beautiful soul for today. Beautiful young lady. So if anybody So her family is hoping that if anyone who sees this video and all videos and conversations about Erica and Garcia, please, if so, please do something. How do you know, like I say, how do you know what you know until you say what you know? How do you know what you know until you say what you know? So, if it happens to be you, if you just so had happened to been at Club New Dimensions some night in June in 1997, and kind of could remember this face, maybe this group girl, this face, if you can remember her, if you went to school with her, this is where she is now, at 14 years old, right? We were all once 14. We were all once 14. We all did dumb things at 14. But being raped, brutally murdered, it's not something that a 14-year-old is deserving, right? Really, real talk. Let's cut it all to the side. A 14-year-old is not deserving of being brutally raped and murdered. Nobody, period. You know what I mean? But especially by somebody that you didn't know. So anyway, if you just happen to have been at Club New Dimensions on the night of June 6, 1997, try to think back to that night. Try to think back to that night. Do you remember anything? If so, please reach out to the Houston homicide cold case at 713-308-3618 or to the anonymous tip line at 713-222-2IPS. And again, that is an anonymous tip line. So if you want to call in and say something that you think you know, you can call in and say what you think you know. And again, how do you know what you know until you say what you know? And there is, ladies and gentlemen, a $5,000 reward for anyone that has information that can lead up to an arrest. So there's money here. We're looking for this young lady's soul salvation because, again, like I said, she is our beautiful soul here in Houston, Texas. She is a young lady who was snatched out of here in a horrible manner. And you think she's at rest? No, she can't be at rest. How can she be? Because justice has not been fulfilled and her family is not at rest. And then if our beautiful soul is not at rest, and her family who is souls here in Houston are not at rest, then Houston is not at rest. And it's time to start putting the city at rest. So it's time to start weeding out those old cold cases. And that's the point of my beautiful soul. That is, I mean, like I said, I'm not a crime solver. Not at all. I'm not going to get out there and chase down nobody. Not at all. But I'm going to sit here and get the story and report the story. I'm going to report the story. And if you listen, you don't. You know what I'm saying? But again, if you know anything, I think you might reach out to the Houston Cold Case Squad, 713-308-3618. Or you can do it anonymously at 713-222-TIPS. But if, like me, you ain't with talking to the man, you don't want them in your business. You don't want them knowing your number, knowing your name. Doing this like knowing your name, knowing your anything. So reach out to Europe. Reach out to Kat. 77production.com at Gmail. You see it. 77production at gmail.com. Put in the subject box. That's how I will know what I'm categorizing these emails as, because I get emails and some of them I just scroll through because that's a lot of people trying to hack through your email. So, put the subject box files, and I'll open it up and then we'll read it. If there are attachments to it, I could open it. I might not open it. Like I said, people trying to hack. So we're gonna work that out. But anyway, reach out to your girl if you don't want to talk to the man, right? So if anybody knows anything about young Erica Garcia, killed from teenage club to abandoned hospital, murdered, raped. Who knew? Right? All right. Now we're good time. Moving right on along. So this case, this story, this this is something I want to do because it has been happening so much lately in the headline to where this is a good story and it's a story that needs to be put out there. And so now it's time for Dear Sister, ... a letter to let you know that you are not forgotten. And today's Dear Sister is Miss Jimella Tunstall. That's what I got. Thought I had another one. But I don't. Wish I did. I don't want to put that one up there just yet. So we'll go back. Anyway, so Jimella Tunstall. My headline reads, Friend, how many of us have them? Question mark. By Cass Sanders. Born February 23rd, 1983, Jimella Tunstall had it very rocky in the beginning stages of her life. She spent the majority of her childhood bouncing from foster homes, dealing with all of the atrocities that come with it. Right? So she didn't have a mother, so she was from foster home, and everything that come with it. No one needs to recite what comes in foster. So what? Sorry. And what happens in foster home? Nobody needs to recite that and let it be known, because we all know what go on in foster home. In home. So she was bouncing from foster home to foster home. She spent the majority of her childhood from this problem. She was dealing with However, she was able to feel some normalcy by being constantly enrolled into school. So that was a good thing. They kept her wherever she was always at school and in school and being in school. And growing up in the foster system, Jimella had trouble trusting people, everywhere and anywhere. And that is until one day, while in the kindergarten, she met her best friend, Tiffany Hall. Tiffany Hall. And Tiffany, too, had a troubled life. And that made the two of them inseparable from kindergarten. That's what, 5, 6 years old? 5, 6 years old, kindergarten. Best friend of life. The troubled life Tiffany shared with her mother, because she had her mother, with whom she fought with quite often, led her down unnecessary paths. Okay? Her mother recalls a time when Tiffany was just 14 years old, and she set the kitchen on fire, and was also sent to juvenile hall detention for violently attacking, kicking, ripping. Tiffany had it bad too, and her mother had no control over it. And this causes her to drop out of high school in middle school. But Tiffany never finished high school. And when she was 16, Tiffany gave birth to her first daughter. And then a year later, and later on that year, she gave birth to her second daughter. Beautiful. These girls are close, they grow up together, they grow up. Beautiful bond. I don't see anything wrong with having back-to-back kids. Anyway, so in August of 1999, Tiffany was holding her second baby, the new daughter, who was only 2 months old. She was only 2 months old, and she was carrying the baby into her mother's house. Her mother noticed that the child was kind of laying funny, and had been, and was breathing funny. She seemed lifeless. So the mother instantly called the EMTs out, and upon further investigation, it is learned that Tiffany had been beating that infant. Tiffany Hall had been beating the baby, right? So her daughters were then taken. This is the baby girl. It's not the oldest. It's the baby girl. But it took her daughters into protective custody for abuse and for the abuse and abuse. An abuse suit was filed against Tiffany. The abuse that the baby girl had endured has given her lifetime disability. However, the charges were never filed against Tiffany by the state's attorney, And with working with CPS, Tiffany was no longer considered a threat to her children. So from 99 to 2002, she worked hard. The children were returned her custody. And these abuse charges were never filed. So she didn't have any charges filed against her for that attempted homicide to the baby. But okay, and now this baby is disabled for the rest of her life. Okay. So, but later on that year, so she got her children back early in 2002. But later on, 2002, Tiffany was arrested for being in possession of a stolen credit card. So there you have it. Tiffany is just not trying to do better. She's just not doing it. She's not trying. But Jimella Tunstall, on the other hand, remember we're talking about best friends. That's why I'm telling you about the lives of two different women. Get it out, girl. All right. So Jimella, too, she had her first son, Damon Tunstall, at 16 in 1999, just like Tiffany. But unlike Tiffany, she waited to have her second child. Jimella had another son named Ivan in 2003, and then her daughter, Janella, in 2004, with her long-term boyfriend named Ivan. But shortly after Jimella's birth, Jimella and Ivan split, So everybody knew that since Jimella didn't have the affection and love of a mother that she yearned for as a child, being a mother was her greatest joy. It meant the world to her. But being a single mother with 3 young children, sometimes it can get overwhelming and life can take its toll on you. Because remember, her and Ivan are no longer together. Now, how that situation is unknown. But it is known that she's a single parent doing this by herself. So in 2005, Jimella, too, loses temporary custody of her children because she whooped Damon with the extension cord. A whooping is a whooping. I mean, I ain't gonna say beat the baby. Don't beat the baby. And depending on what the situation was, and if it was a frustrated situation, or if it was a really disciplinary type of situation. But in 2005, 199, he's like 6. That's not extension cord age to me. Extension cord age to me is 10, 11 years old. That's too big for the belt. And the switch don't work. So, But I don't know whose household I'm talking about, because I'm not talking about mine. As I digress. I'm loving it. I love my show. I love what I do. I love engaging. I love interacting. If you're watching, thank you. If nobody's watching, I'm watching. Look. So anyway, she lost her children in 2005. So she faced a domestic battery charge. Jimella completed the parenting class and worked hard to get her children back. And these charges were dropped, and she got full custody of her children again. Awesome. Same year. So no time had really passed, because it wasn't that dire of a situation. The children were not being beaten. He just got a whoop and probably was mad or something. Somebody had a whip. I don't know. Anyway. Right, the situation seemed like the best thing that could have ever happened to Jimella. Knowing that her precious children were possibly going through the same thing. I mean, this situation seemed like the best thing that could have happened to Jimella, with her children being taken and put in foster care. Because knowing that her precious children were possibly going through the same things that she went through, she knew she had to get it together and provide the best life for her children. And that is just what she does. Jimella purchases her first, after she get her children back, she purchased her first car with her income tax. All right, here we go. This is the one, let me go back. I don't like that. So the one with the beautiful, beautiful smile, that's Dad. That's the mom. That's the old. And then next to Damon is Ivan. And in front of Damon is Janilla. And this is Jimella. And this is Tiffany Hall. her best friend in the whole wide world. Best friend in the whole wide world since kindergarten. It's like their lives were messed up. They did everything together. Everything happened to them kind of like simultaneously. She lost her kids, boom, she lost her kids. She got pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Anywho. So she purchases her first, Jimella purchases her first car with her income tax, and she enrolled in a community college. Jimella had dreams to work in photography one day. So she had dreams. Tiffany, on the other hand, couldn't get it together because she held so much animosity and so much hatred and so much anger in her heart for whomever she took out. She didn't get a chance to figure out her life and figure out what she wanted in life. But Jimilla's life was starting to look up. It was starting to look great. It was starting to look up. And to add to her glory, Jimella had just found out that she was pregnant with her fourth child. So, in September of 2006, Jimella is now pregnant with her second daughter. And just like they always have, guess what? Tiffany announces that she's pregnant too. So now we have the best friends doing it all over again. Tiffany is having another baby. Jimella is having another baby. Tiffany is having another baby. It's like, how? Girl, y'all are something else. Y'all are in sync. In sync. So everybody is excited and elated with this news. Like, oh, you know what I mean? So that is until tragedy strikes on Friday, September the 15th, 2006. Tiffany calls 911 telling them that she had just given birth to a stillborn baby. So sad. Now, Tiffany's boyfriend is a soldier who was deployed in Iraq at the moment. So, he's overseas when this happens. Tiffany and her dead baby are rushed to the hospital where she strangely refused to be checked. She didn't want to, She said she was raped on the street of St. Louis, because I have to say this is in St. Louis. She was raped on the streets of St. Louis, and this is what caused her to go into early labor. So the Special Crimes Unit was contacted in St. Louis by the police, informing them of that crime, and Tiffany was released. So she didn't give nobody no information. They just gave her the baby back. They want to get checked. I mean, it's your prerogative if you don't want to get checked. She's an adult by this time. It's 2006. So they released her and gave, and the baby. So on September the 21st, 2006, Tiffany and her family and her family and close friends are at the cemetery, and they're having a funeral for Taylor. Taylor is Tiffany's stillborn daughter, and she named her Taylor. Beautiful. But like I said, everyone was in attendance. Even the father of the baby, who was flown from Iraq to attend the funeral of his child. Yes, all was in attendance except Tiffany's very best friend, Jimella, and her children. So, when her boyfriend asked about Jimella's unexpected absence, Tiffany breaks down. She can't take it. Well, she goes on to explain to her boyfriend that the child that they are burying is in fact, and mourning, is in fact not their child, and that she removed the baby from her cousin after she murdered. Yes. So Tiffany can't take it because people want to know. Like this. Why isn't she here for this situation? If this is a situation, she's not here for you during this situation? Come on. So where is she? So she breaks down and she tells me this is not I killed her and I took her baby. He immediately and boom, goes to the authorities and reports what he just heard. A few hours later, Jimella's body was found in East St. Louis on North 56th Street in a woody patch of grass. A weedy patch of grass, like a big talk to the side. And this area is not too far from where Tiffany is. Okay? They bring the body back, and an autopsy is conducted on Jimella's body, and it was determined that she was beaten in the head with a blunt object. But that's not what killed her. Like on Ricky Smiley, that's not what killed her. She dies from blood loss from a large laceration in her abdomen. It was determined that her daughter was snatched from her womb while she was possibly still alive. Tiffany was then taken into custody, of course. Of course. What can you do? What are you supposed to do? How can you not take this woman into custody? Look at this. Look at this girl. Look at this. Tiffany took her best friend's baby and tried to portray it as her own. But it didn't work out that way because the baby died as well, right? And that's what she had to report. So she reported that she was raped, had her own stillborn child, and was taken to the hospital with her best friend's dead baby after she killed her best friend and discarded her best friend's body, right? But that's not the bad part. Okay, Tiffany was taken into custody. Her mother and her two daughters were found, and her daughters were safe. But they're confused and also devastated. Like, Mama, what is he doing? Like, what is the problem? However, the rest of the world was in a panic because it had been 6 days since anybody realized that they hadn't even seen Jimella's children. So, the 15th, when she does this, she kills the girl on the 15th, goes to the hospital, reports all that and the stillborn. Then the next day, on the 16th, she goes to Ivy, where the children, 3 children, Damon, Ivan, and Jimella. She goes to him and tells Ivan, hey, Jimella told me to come get the kids and get her car, and she'll call you later. And this is not unusual. They always do this, so he thought none of it. But he hadn't heard. But that's when he realized, that he hasn't heard from Jimella or his children since either. So the police rushes to Jimella's house on September the 22nd, 2006, frantically looking for the children. But they have no luck. They're not there. So they go back to the police station. They pressure Tiffany into telling them what happened to those children. She tells them that on the night of the 15th, after she beats Jimella, so she does it on the 15th, the same night, after she beats Jimella on the head with the leg table until she was unconscious, she was indeed still alive. Tiffany drugged Jimella to the bathtub and cut open her abdomen, removing the baby. Jimella bled to death in the bathtub. Tiffany then dumped her body in a vacant lot. The baby had not survived the attack despite showing signs of trauma. That's when Tiffany called 911, and she had said that she had given birth to a stillborn baby. So the police go back to the report that she had given birth to a stillborn baby. This is on the 15th. So that's the next day when she goes. So it's the 16th, she goes to the house and goes to Ivan and gets the kids from Ivan and does this to the kids. So the next day, the police go back to their apartment on the 23rd of September and are immediately met with foul odor because Tiffany finally told them where the babies were. And just as Tiffany states, the children were where she said they were. One, Damon, was in the dryer, life. Ivan and Jimella were in the washing machine, life. Right. So it was 3 days later. It says 3 days later, Tiffany picked Jimella's kids up from the father's house. She took the children back to Jimilla's apartment and drowned them in the same bathtub that their mother died. She placed the bodies in the washer and dryer and then left the apartment. She spent the next several days planning the funeral of the baby that she was claiming to be her own. She named Tate. So, right? Friend, this is your best friend from kindergarten. These children, 10 times out of 10, if I know best friends, because my best friend, my children used to call my best friend I had, we're one, anyway, they called her Aunt. You know what I mean? So they probably called her Aunt Annie, Love, Mimi, Dee Dee, Dee. So she drowned them 3 babies in the same bathtub that she killed their mother in, but she gave them cough syrup so they can be easier to drown. After she drowned, she threw like awesome lemon and fryer, and then she pushed Jimella and Ivan in the washing machine, closes the door and leaves. And when they get there on the 22nd, they rushing through the house looking through everything except what, y'all? The washroom. They looked everywhere but the washroom. Maybe they looked in the washroom, opened the door, boom, no children, and closed the door back and left. And them babies, they were still in their washing machine and dryer. And then the very next day, it didn't take no time for them babies to start stinking. Because when they go back the very next day, they are met with the foul odor of the baby. They're searching. This is not for us to say. This is a search. It's them looking for Jimella. Because Tiffany had told them where they put her. So they're searching for Jimella here. They're searching for Jimella here. And this is where they are now. Jimella, Damon, Ivan, and Janelle. These 4 babies. These 4 babies. And this baby here, Ivan, was born on September the 20th. So he had just had a birthday. He had a birthday. Right before this. Right? Bless his soul. Yes. So, according to James Gormick, which is one of Tiffany's attorneys, for some reason she felt the need to take her friend's baby and pass it on as her own. It isn't proven if Tiffany had miscarried miscarried and taken it hard, or if she was pregnant in the first place. So they don't even know if she was pregnant in the first place. But I don't understand how they don't know, because you're under arrest now. It haven't even been that long. You're gonna open up and let me see what happened now. I'm sorry, excuse my vernacular, but you can lay here, open up, and let me see what's going on, because of the fact that this house, this apartment, can no longer probably be rented out. This house and this apartment can probably no longer be rented out, because Tiffany decided to take the lives of 5. Because being that she took that unborn child from her mother, she killed that baby too. So she was responsible for 5. That day. So they're saying it's unproven if she was pregnant. But what's bothering everybody is the fact that the other women that are in cases like this, but this is not something that does not happen. But a lot of times it's not really happened by somebody who you've known as long as they've known each other. It's by somebody who finds you at like a Lamar's class or at the store or something like that. So it's not really necessarily by somebody that you know like this. Let me hurry up. So anyway, because and these ladies either miscarry and don't have children of their own, or cannot get pregnant. So they feel like this is the only step that they can take. So they don't understand what made Tiffany do this. Because Tiffany already had 2 daughters herself. So it's unsure. Why? Because Tiffany's daughters were 7 and 8 at the time of this crime. So in September 2008, 2 years later, Tiffany attempted to withdraw her guilty plea, but she pleaded guilty in order to, I don't know if they do death penalty in Missouri, but I think they do. So in order to avoid that, she pleaded guilty. Now in 2008, 2 years later, she wants to claim that she had ineffective counsel And that request was denied. I mean, what can your lawyer do? What can your lawyer do? If you have all the evidence, you killed the 3 babies, you killed your best friend, killed the 3 babies, and the baby, and tried to pass the baby off as yours, and then had a funeral named everything. So what they gonna do? So that was denied. 2012, she filed a petition for a new defense attorney, claiming ineffective assistance by her trial lawyer. It was to dismiss. Because girl, sit down. Go sit down. But Tiffany is persistent that her attorneys did not appropriately investigate her mental health and competency to stand trial. Who cares? You killed 4 babies and a mom. Who cares? Go sit down. So in the transcript, People versus Hall, which is Tiffany, 2014, Tiffany's new trial report states that the information about her psychiatric evaluation that was taken on the 8th of June 2007 was not received by her attorney until 2 days after her guilty plea on the 11th. Tiffany entered the guilty plea on the 9th of June. So she did the evaluation on the 11th. She entered her guilty plea on the 9th. And the results from the evaluation was not given to her attorney until the 11th. So she felt like he failed her. Girl, sit down. You killed 4 babies and a mom. Sit down. You were in your mind because you went over there with a story to tell Ivan about how to get these kids from him. You brought them back to the house, gave them medicine. Nobody that's not in that's not in the mind of a state of mind of consciousness can say that they don't know. They did it. You did it. You did it. You said it. You did it. You told them exactly what you did. Ivan even said what you did. What you came to me, told me this and this, and that's how I gave her my children. I gave her my children. I put my children in her hand. So, any attempts for a new lawyer and trials all the attempts for new lawyers and trials eventually pays off for Tiffany. In 2020, she finally won her appeal for the post-conviction relief dismissal and was granted the opportunity to apply for the relief again. This is the first appeal she made in the beginning about the information about the psychiatric evaluation getting to the attorney 2 days late. Now, what they're going to have to do in this appeals process to see if this outcome would have actually, triggered the jury to do something different. It's not. Girls tonight. So here we have Tiffany Hall 2020 trying to get out. She won out, y'all. She won out. But she did win this process. But it's going to take years for her to get this. And it's going to cost money for her to do this. And she don't have either. But she got the years. But she ain't got nothing but time. Nothing but time. So, yeah. Frank. How many of us have them? So that was my dear sister, ... A letter to let you know that you have not forgotten. And this is to you, Jimella, to you, Demond, to you, Ivan, and to you, Jimella, Demond, Ivan, and Janelle. You are not forgotten. But to Jimella Tunstall, my sister, my dear sister, this letter is to you to let you know that you are not forgotten. All right. Right. That was pretty good. That one was pretty good. It's really, really, really sad that, you cannot trust the people that you are with at all times. It should not be that way. We should be able to hang out and have a good time. Right. So, at the end of my show, I always like to do my wrap 'em up, cap 'em up. And this wrap 'em up, cap 'em ups are always about a cold case, beautiful soul from here in Houston that I've already spoken upon, and I want to give you an update on this case and the information that I have found out. So, my girl, I feel like we friends, girl. I mean, she's my very first code. She's my very first beautiful soul. I reported her. My very first, Kenisha Dixon. She was murdered May 9th, 2000. West Point. I don't even need I know. This baby was 20 years old, 2000. She was in fear of her life. She moved into an apartment off of West Warren, which is on the west side. I'm gonna probably go there one day this week. And she moved into the apartment. It was only there about 2 months. And she used to stay with her best friend, who was a guy. So he leaves one day to go wherever he went, but he left her his gun because she was in fear of her life from somebody. Nobody is even saying who she was afraid of. Nobody is saying. So that's the question. Who was she in fear of? You knew she was afraid. Who was she afraid of? We need to find that out. Who is this? I can't find any information on the best friend. None of that. Nothing. And then when I call Houston's cold case, I don't get an answer. And I'm leaving messages. So I'm going to be trying, I think I'm going to diligently figure out a little bit more about what I can find out with Miss Dixon, because somebody knocked at her door. She opens the door and is shot right there in the stomach as soon as the door opens. And she opens the door carrying a pistol. The same pistol that the best friend / roommate said he gave her to have. So we need to figure out energy. We need to figure out what happened. It's time to put this beautiful soul to rest. Like I said, when our souls are not at rest, their families are not at rest, and H-Town is not at rest, and we need to put our city at rest. Because everybody's thinking there's too many murders happening right now. So these people are being pushed further back. Hence, by Foxxx, Cold, and Unsolved. So, yes, guys, this is Kenisha Dixon, murdered May 9th, 2000, in some apartments on West Forum. Those apartments are no longer there. Of course, they're no longer there. So, if you know anything or know of anybody who may know something about what happened, if you lived in those apartments, you can kind of remember that day. If you remember seeing anybody run away or go to the apartment or anything that day, May 9th, 2000, please don't hesitate to reach out to the Houston Cold Case Squad. They might not answer, but don't leave a message. Leave a message. And if you want to stay anonymous, of course, 713-222-TIPS. But if you ain't with the nonsense, and again, like I said, you don't want the people in your business, you don't want the man knowing who you are. You're always welcome to reach out to your girl, Cass, at Santa7production@gmail.com. Put in the subject bar, Foxxx. Do not add attachments. We will converse, and then I'll tell you how to add attachments. So we'll do that first. So I want to, but reach out to me, and we can get this solved and get this together. Kenisha Dixon. She needs justice. She needs to find out. And you can reach out. No, I'm not ready for that part yet. Sorry, guys. So yeah, Kenisha Dixon. Look at that beautiful smile. She had a life, but she had somebody torment. Somebody knows something. The authorities said they did. They gathered valuable information is the quote. Let me get this down. I can quote this part. I want you to see it. Where we at? This way. Valuable information from residents and from witnesses. So we have valuable information. What is it? Where is it? And why isn't it done yet? Like, why hasn't this case been solved yet? Why are we still talking about this baby? Why is she still seeking justice? So, if you know anything, or you know anyone who may know something, please don't hesitate to reach out to the Houston Homicide Cold Case, the anonymous tip line, or to me, Cass, at Santa7production@gmail.com. All right. All right, all right. That was Foxxx Files Cold and Unsolved, Season 1, Episode 5. Finally, finally. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in for a whole hour and 5 minutes. So I'm going to give you a little shimmy, shimmy. It's dedication. I appreciate that, y'all. It's dedication. I love it. I love what I do. I love what I report. I really want to get further and get deeper and dive heavier into this. So, but again, thank you for tuning in to Foxxx Files Cold and Unsolved. I can be located at facebook.com/Cass. I will put the articles that I speak, that I do after I upload the video. I will post the article on Facebook, on my Facebook page. That's it right there. I don't have Instagram just yet for that one. I'm going to get a media team to try to work on that. Anyway, let me go as I digress. So, ladies and gentlemen, Foxxx Files, Cold and Unsolved. I'm Pat, H-Town's Army brat. Thank you for watching.